Why in the world would I hike 2,650 miles from Mexico to Canada? Why? I guess I want to start with my kind of progression into the world of hiking and my obsession with hiking. I have always liked hiking, but as a young mom and a woman with a full-time job and children and a family and responsibilities, it's very easy to not take care of yourself and to not do the things that you like or do the things that you love or kind of allow any space for yourself. My first hike that I could ever remember going on was to Caledonia State Park in Pennsylvania, and I was in kindergarten, and I went with my kindergarten class, and we went around Caledonia, and it was so cool and beautiful, and I remember collecting leaves and pine cones and rocks and filling up my pockets and taking them home. So I definitely have always had a love for the outdoors and for hiking, but I also definitely let life and busyness get in the way of that. More recently in my life, actually during COVID, I was at the point where I could barely even walk to the mailbox and back. My back would hurt, my feet would cramp up, and I was just out of shape and not happy with who I was or what my body could do. I was working 2 jobs, a family business and a side job, trying to help support our family during that time by teaching online. And the 2 of those things left me absolutely zero free time, and it started to really take its toll on me. At that same time period, one of my sons went to college, and we delivered him there because it was in Alaska. As I tried to go on hikes with my family, I just realized that I couldn't even keep up. I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. I couldn't enjoy myself because I was not taking care of myself. So I made a commitment at that point to do that. And it took me a couple years to really get going, but over the next couple years, I learned some things. And then in 2022, I really got serious, lost a bunch of weight, started hiking, started lifting weights again, and really started, as I've talked about before, learning about backpacking, and took my first backpacking trip in March of 2023. I'm a competitive person by nature, so I ended up looking for some kind of a challenge. What was I going to do? Was I going to compete in CrossFit? Was I going to try to become a power lifter in my old age? What was I going to do to challenge myself? And my coach at the time said, well, you love hiking. There's hiking challenges out there. And then one thing led to another. I found a couple challenges online. I found a Western New York hiking challenge and just really started loving exploring the area where I lived, finding all the trails that I had no idea existed. Really challenged myself to get miles in. The first time I really even heard about any type of long distance hiking was I think it was 2022 in the fall. My family took a trip to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And we did some short hikes on the AT and around the Smokies. And then I did my first real challenge where I hiked up Mount LeConte. And it was I think a 13-mile round trip. And I was so scared. It was such a huge thing that I had never done before. And it was awesome. I got up early when I was going to go by myself. And actually, one of my sons decided to come with me last minute, so that was really cool. But I just, one more thing that kind of showed me that I could do something if I set my mind to it. So we went on a family hike on the one section of the AT up to Charlie's Bunyan. And my granddaughter actually took some of her very first steps on the AT. So again, like the whole idea of people like hiking this whole trail, it intrigued me. I just couldn't let it go. So I joined the Appalachian Trail Hikers 2022 group or 22, and just read all the posts. And so I remember actually asking someone, oh my gosh, do you ever think I could hike the whole thing? Meaning the AT. And they were like, no. And right then and there I said, yes, I am. So there, I will. And I will. Apparently I'm on the PCT right now. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but let life unfold, right? But what I think it really boils down to, why I hike, is it's where I belong. When I get out in the woods, it is where I feel at peace. It is where I feel close to God. That's where I can think. It's where I can process. It's just my happy place times a million. It's my home. When I'm hiking and backpacking, I feel like I have the space and the time to be mindful, to really think about things, to plan kindness, to plan to be conscientious and organized, and to kind of avoid all the things that give us regrets later in life. You know, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. And when I get out in the woods, I think about things like, oh man, I really haven't spoken to so-and-so in a while, or I haven't really expressed appreciation for this, or I really want to learn this, or become more like this. And it just gives me that time to think and to process that. And maybe other people can do that in the busyness of their everyday lives, but I just don't. I go from one thing to another, and I don't think about things until I get outside. It gives me time to, and the ability to really connect with God spiritually. I feel very connected out there. I have a lot of time to pray and to think and to meditate, and I just feel like it's been really good. Even though I haven't been to church as much, because I'm always gone on the weekends, I feel like I have really gotten closer to God through this time. The other thing I love about hiking, strangely enough, talking about being alone and being out in the woods and everything with solitude, being alone and being out in the woods and having solitude, is the people you meet. You really meet some amazing people that you just would not meet otherwise and interact with. And it's funny because it's kind of a cliche that people say hiking the trail, especially the longer trails, gave me faith in humanity again. And it's true. You just meet so many people, interesting people, wonderful people. People that I met on the long trail in Vermont, there's probably 5 of them that I still keep in touch with. And it's just the trail angels that you meet and the kind people that you meet that help you out, or that who are so interested and supportive in what you're doing, really is kind of a breath of fresh air. It's a breath of fresh air. So that's why I hike. But why am I hiking the PCT? Part of an exercise that I did when I was reading the book called Pacific Crest Trails was to actually really think through my why in detail. Like, I really took a couple hours to think it through and to be very intentional about why and writing it down. So here goes. First of all, I need some time to reevaluate my life and gain clarity for the future. I've been going through some things in my life and some changes, and I don't know what I'm going to do in my future. So this is going to give me the time and the ability to think it through. I want to challenge myself both physically and mentally, and this will definitely do it. I want to build mental and emotional strength by intentionally confronting my fears and taking on a challenge. I want to learn the lessons that persevering through all kinds of trials will teach me. I want to experience new things and broaden my horizons. I want to expand my knowledge about backpacking, adapting to different climates and weather and circumstances. I mean, pretty much all that I've done is relatively the same type of environment. So hiking in the desert and the high mountains is going to definitely be something new for me. I want to connect with nature and experience the beauty of the wilderness for an extended period of time. There's something about the longer you're outside and the longer you are kind of disconnected from the busyness of society and everyday life, the more you learn and change and grow. And I like those things that change in me, and I want to continue learning those things. So that's my why. I am going to have that little document with those notes with me. So hopefully when I get discouraged or question why the heck I'm doing this, those things will remind me why I'm doing it. I would say for me, the personal growth, the challenge, and the confidence that will be built through this are the most important to me right now. So stay tuned. And hopefully 2,650 miles later, I will have accomplished what I set out to do. On that note, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this rambling video in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, subscribe, and even click the little bell so you can be notified when I post videos of my hike. Day 1 is tomorrow. I'm so excited. I also have a downloadable list of my version of the 10 essentials, things that I take on every hike, backpacking trip, or day hike. Or if you just want to join my email list for some periodic updates that may not make it to YouTube or TikTok or whatever, then feel free to join that list by clicking on the link below. And I promise I will not spam you with lots of emails, but I would love to stay connected. All right, till tomorrow.